Hi Stampers, I'm Dawn Tidd with Tidbits from Dawn, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I would like to share with you today a little MDS trick that I've learned. I took a class last fall from Heather Summers and Martha Inchley, and this is where I learned this trick. It's not anything I discovered, so I don't want to take credit for it. So I'm going to close my intro screen here and go ahead and open the project that I want to share with you. I actually entered, well, this was the card that was on my blog on Monday morning that I entered into a digital challenge over at Impressions by Nicole. And this challenge this week is a sketch challenge. So I'd like to show you how you can use this technique really with anything. You could use it with a scrapbook page, if you found a page map on another site, or even someone's scrapbook page or card that you wanted to case, then you could use this method. I'm sorry, you're going to hear a little background noise from my computer because once the screen recording gets going, for some reason the motor likes to pop up and run a little bit. The first thing I did was go over to Nicole's blog and drop and drag the sketch right down here onto my screen, onto my desktop. And now I'm going to drop and drag it up here into the card. And this is just a standard A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the gray areas around the edge of the card are called the bleed areas. I always work with the bleed areas on a project so that I can remind myself not to put anything important in those areas, because that's the area that may not print when it gets sent to Stampin' Up! So then once this, I drop and drag this up here, it can be any size because we are going to adjust it to fit the size of our page by pulling it with the bars, the gray bars, just to fit the card. And it says it's going to pixelate, but that doesn't matter because all I want is the sketch. I'm not going to use the elements that are already on this sketch. So I will continue to get this same size of the card, and one more pull should do, and we should be right there. Alright, so now the sketch is on top of my card. But what I need to do is be able to work. If I go ahead and start adding elements, everything will be underneath and I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So I need to put some placeholders of my own on top of this sketch. So if I wanted these 4 boxes, or even 2 of them, to be pictures, I could drop a photo box and adjust its size right on top of one of these squares. But since I know I'm working with the Sent with Love kit and I'm going to be using some stamps, I'm going to fill these squares with punches. So I'm going to go over to my Design Center and choose Punches, and I'm going to pick the square punch, and it actually, conveniently, is the same size as the squares that are in the sketch. So I'm going to place the square right on top of those that are already there, and I'm going to do a Command C and a Command V on a Mac to copy the square, and then I'm going to place it right over all the squares that are already in the sketch. And as I said, you could do this with a scrapbook page or anything else that you wanted to do it with. But this is a pretty simple sketch. Now I did it one more time for the square in the middle, and I'm just going to move it up and get it to be about the same size as that little square under there. This way just a tad. Okay. Now I am going to color fill this with a different color. I'll just go with gray like Nicole did. It may be just a smooch too big here. There. Alright, so now we have 5 squares that we've layered on top of the sketch. So I'm going to go up here to the Manage Your Layers icon and pick Layers. And that will show us all the layers that we've added on top of that sketch. We added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square punches on top and down, and if you click on one of them, you can see that was the last one I added, which is the darker one, and the rest of them are just the regular punch, which is nice that you have a little preview when you look over there. Now it'll pull up Nicole's sketch. So I want hers to come back on the very top. I'm done with it. I don't need it anymore. I have all the elements on my own card. So I can go over here and click OK, and now the sketch is back on top of everything. So it's actually already chosen for us because it comes up selected. You can tell by the little gray squares that are along the sides. It's already chosen, so I'm going to delete that. So now the placeholders that I put on top of the sketch are there, and her sketch is completely gone. And I can go ahead and start filling it with things that I'd like to use on my card, which is one thing I used was this background paper here. And that'll just drop right into the background, and I can go ahead and complete my project from here with the sketch. And then I can delete the punches afterwards. So I hope you have learned something from this little tip, and maybe you can put it to use in a sketch challenge in which you participate using My Digital Studio soon. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.